knew he was about to be released by Halifax. His spell at the Shea has not worked out, perhaps as well as expected this year, but he is a vastly experienced centre at our level, having previously played at Featherstone and Sheffield. Good piece of business for Batley.
Was a really good player at both Fev and Sheff during good times for those two sides. Yeah. So, yeah, good signing.
Yeah, absolutely. Always reminds me of that Kaiser Chiefs track, I Predict a Riot, whenever I hear of his name, Smeaton. There's a line in that would never have happened to Smeaton, and only a 10 singing. I'm not singing, but yeah, it reminds me of that.
Okay.
There you go. Makes me think of the Kaiser Chiefs. Oldham have extended centre Kieran Gill's loan until the end of the season and signed North Wales Crusaders winger Scott Turner. They've also signed Bradford utility back James Mendika on loan until the end of the season. Swinton Lions have confirmed that they have signed Welsh international forward Jake Emmett. The former Castleford prop was released by Lee earlier this season to enable him to try his hand in Australia, but the 27-year-old has returned to the UK and will now be part of the Lions team, which is looking to secure its championship future.
Yeah, two teams that need to tighten, need to take on some extra players, so they've both done that. Good work, I'd say, for both of them.
That's it. Toronto Wolfpack have announced their first signings for the 2017 season in Wakefield centre Craig Hall and Lee winger Liam Kay. Good news, things start. The first two members of the pack have been assembled.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll get more and more names announced, especially with the salary cap news now. I suppose they can start to reach for the stars and all that. What I want to know is, are we going to get to watch this reality TV programme? Because after getting a bit hooked on the Rookie.
I hope so. Really, really hope so. The chief executive of the 2017 Rugby League World Cup, Michael Brown, has resigned 15 months out from the tournament. Brown has apparently quit for family reasons, but the move comes after the World Cup boss abused Panthers CEO Corey Payne by voicemail.
A bit disruptive for the tournament, but we've got all the fixtures now, so everything's set quite well in motion, isn't it?
You would think so.
Some people cried a bit about how many, whether they were offered games or not, but it's going to get good.
In Sydney, do you mean?
Yeah.
I think
that's what the Penrith fallout was about. The Panthers wanted to know why Pepper Stadium didn't get any games, basically. But the games have spread out quite well, and it gives the opportunity for areas that aren't Sydney to come out in force and support the tournament and just show what support there is for rugby league across Australia and New Zealand and Papua New Guinea. Yeah,
and from what I'm led to understand, Pepper Stadium is not particularly the most up-to-date and modern of facilities anyway.
It's pretty decent now. It's not
really.
It's one of those suburban grounds, but it's better than some of the other ones.
Fair enough. The other thing, and I really only picked this up from Twirl, is that there's talk that the New South Wales government as a whole didn't particularly throw its weight behind trying to go out and get games and bid for games and be as involved, and basically expected that they would be given more and therefore didn't need to try very hard, and actually places like Darwin and Perth and Western Australia have benefited as a result. Corey Norman has been banned for 8 games by the NRL for a string of off-field incidents, that's what we'll call them. The NRL has said the ban relates to Norman's conviction for drug possession and a police warning for consorting with known criminals at a casino. The Parramatta Eels standoff was also reprimanded for filming incidents involving apparent drug use and sexual activity and disturbing video of distributing, thank you, although I imagine it would be fairly disturbing, and distributing video of those incidents to other NRL players. It was also fined 20,000 Australian dollars, which is about £11,500. Silly boy.
Yeah.
Silly boy.
Yeah, the NRL.
I think it's not the worst thing that will have happened to Parramatta Eels this season, so, they'll probably get over it. And finally, Castleford fullback Luke Dawn will pull on his boots for the Maitland Pumpkin Pickers when he returns to Australia next year. Dawn is retiring from Super League at the end of the 2016 season. He is returning to Australia with his young family and has decided to have a run out with the Pumpkin Pickers. Maitland is located in New South Wales' Hunter region, and they play in the Newcastle Rugby League competition.
What a team name.
Absolutely. The Maitland Pumpkin Pickers.
Great stuff.
Love it. Fantastic. Right, that's your news from around the world of rugby league.
What are the odds, do you think, on the Newcastle? Where do you reckon we can bet on the Newcastle Rugby League competition? Because I'm throwing a few dollars on him being the top
leading try scorer. Yeah, I reckon there's probably a few bars in the Newcastle region that will have a bookie in it that might take your bet, but I'm not sure you'll find it online. Okay, that's news from around the world of rugby league. Let's take a look back now at round 23 of Super League. Right, into round 23 of Super League we go then, Mark. Final round of regular-ish season play before we split off.
There's nothing to see here, as far as I'm concerned.
To be fair, it's been a nothing to see here season for me, so if you've had one poor round, I'm not prepared to let you off the hook. We'll start on Thursday night there, over at the KCOM Stadium, where it was Leeds 24, Hull KR 12, so a close one.
Really only 20, Tom.
What did I say?
24-12, because you read the half-time score of Leeds.
Oh, yes, I did. Right, 20, well, even closer than I've just given you. That's about 3 fuck-ups tonight. Right, 24-20, nearly did it twice.
Yeah.
24-20 in favour of Leeds. Late Ryan Hall score, putting this one to bed for the Rhinos. But it was Sugiura who was the one of the standouts for me. Shows that he can smash prop forwards as much as he can smash girls with a camera phone, Mark. But work-a-day sort of performance from Leeds, you think... Really, this is kind of...
They didn't explode into this game as much as I expected them to. I think credit has to be given to the start Hull KR made, and then they had that no try where Maurice Blair took it off Josh Mantelotto effectively, and then they ended up dropping it when they would have been scoring in the goal, and it would have been they would have been 2 scores up, and it would have been looking like a bit to come back from for Leeds. Leeds muscled up a bit then, and put shoulders into props and whatever, and hands into faces, not gouging apparently, so that's okay.
We'll let him off.
Ridiculous. How that penalty went against Ablett, went for Ablett. Sorry, I have no idea whatsoever.
Well, I thought we'd get to that. Yeah, that was one of a couple that I
completely baffled,
missed on the night. To be perfectly honest with you,
there was also a lot of shouts for forward passes from Leeds around the ruck area, but I don't think they were. I don't think they were as obvious as the fans maybe wanted him to be. And I don't actually think Higgs had as bad a performance as people want to make out. But he missed things that were notable because they were significant, like the shoulder charge, like the Ablett incident, and like the Ken Seo knock-on that led to one of the greatest tries of the weekend. So as far as I'm concerned, you can leave that where it was, that knock-on, because what ensued was brilliant.
Yes,
to be perfectly honest, from Kelly and Mins.
Yeah.
And
Tommy Mins was one of the people I was actually made a point of watching, because I tuned into this one thinking it's a slightly dead rubber. I thought, well, I'm going to focus on some of the young OKR players who are getting an opportunity, and obviously Tom Mins is one that's been, coming up on our radars for a year or two now, but also the young halfback who, as we sit here talking, his name escapes me now. Thank you, Matty Marr.
Started the game strongly with the
try. Started the game for OKR as well, so I thought I'm going to focus on watching these two young lads, and actually that exponentially improved my enjoyment of the game.
And Lawler showed a bit of toughness coming back from his knock early doors.
Yeah, that's it. So there are some good young players floating around that Hull KR side of English descent. So
Thomas Mins, by the way, absolute bargain of the year for me in the dream team.
Is he doing well?
Yeah.
There you go then. There you go. Sorry, that's all I've got to say about that, in the words of Forrest Gump.
The way the game shaped out was quite interesting, because obviously Hull KR started quite brightly, but didn't take advantage of their opportunities. Leeds then were quite. I don't want to say dominant, but they seemed to be making chances for themselves regularly, but they didn't score enough.
Yeah.
It just seemed they didn't score enough. The tries they did score, though, were remarkably easy. Rob Burrow, great footwork, but someone needs to get near him there.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Kynehorst, when I watched the replays of his try, I realised just how far he'd ran with people carrying him to score. It was, it was middle-aged defending when Hull KR switched off in that spell when Leeds got on. But then Hull KR kind of kicked into gear too late, didn't they, at the end?
Yeah.
And in that middle period, Leeds were very much the bigger threat, and you sort of thought they'd have hammered more nails into the coffin than they did. And actually the final score was because of those 2 late scores that Hull KR picked up. The very clever kick from Thomas Mins again for Kieran Dixon to pick up a try, being one of the highlights. But they left it too late, but similarly they shouldn't have been even in the game at that stage. So I suppose we got more entertainment out of the game than probably it warranted, because these are 2 middle-eight sides. They're not top performing sides this year.
Yeah, that's it, absolutely.
Plenty of action in this one, as the total metres fell just below 3,000, making it the second most metres in any game this year in Super League. Although in the metre battle, and defensive efficiency, there was little between the two sides. Leeds had much more attacking threat, 10 breaks to 5, but it still ended 4 tries apiece. A massive 18 attacking kicks from the Robins, the joint 4th highest by any team in a game this year, wasn't enough to take advantage of the field position they made. With a close error and penalty count, it was Leeds' ability to get a lead and just about cling on to it that saw this game won for them.
There you go. So individually then, who stood out for us?
Ryan Hall with a try in 141 metres and Callum Watkins with 164 metres. Good signs for Leeds for both of those guys, and good signs for England, I suppose.
Yeah.
Whether the intensity of the middle eights will be enough to get them ready for the end of season.
Or maybe you think actually the confidence boosting of perhaps playing against teams in the middle eights and what, because I feel like Leeds now aren't far away from that big 80-minute performance that just kind of almost presses the reset button and takes you back to this time last year. Now that they're getting the 3/4 line, now that they've got a good hooker, now that they've got some variation in the halves. I still don't know who the best fullback is now that Ardek is not at the squad, but that's not something that's really going to rear its ugly head in the middle eights anyway. I feel like they could go into the eights and they're just going to do murder against almost everybody, I would say, and then that for your England players in the Leeds setup will be better than getting the shit kicked out of them for 8 weeks.
Fair
in terms of building up their confidence and match fitness going into the England setup.
Well, Mitch Garbutt was back in the Leeds lineup this week after a week off. 163 metres, so he did what he's been doing. Jamie Jones did what he's been doing. 50 tackles, 11 marker tackles, 100 metres. This guy's body is going to be so busted at the end of this year.
Have we talked recently about how well Jamie Jones Buchanan's done this season? I know we tend to.
We talk about it every week.
Every 3 to 4 weeks, don't we? Just take and make a point.
Because he was absolutely terrible in his return from injury game against Wigan. He was lucky to not get a sin bin. He was all over the place in defence. And then since that, he's been all over the place in defence in the other way, in terms of making things happen rather than making mistakes.
Absolutely astounding.
For Hull KR, one of their standout players this year has been Ken Seo. He got 2 tries and 159 metres in his switch around, having to play a little bit at centre, a little bit on the wing. Albert Kelly with a try assist, 10 tackles, 174 metres. Thomas Minns, we've mentioned, he had 2 try assists and 143 metres. And Adam Walker, 137 metres.
Okay, fan reviews on this one. Paul Campbell got in touch. He said it was a decent game, but Hicks is a useless cheating twat. Not like Paul to be so blunt. Normally he's a man of many words, but this time he really let us know what he thought. Tyler Casfan, good scrap between 2 desperate teams looking for that extra middle eights home game. Yes, it wasn't a total dead-rubber. Leeds were there for the taking in the last 15 minutes, but hung on in there and KR couldn't show the composure and decision-making needed to get the winning score. Tim G Radio, he simply put, I know this feeling, it's the hope that kills you.
Oh, bloody hell. It's the 45 minutes of my Friday night.
Certainly know that. Colin Render, KR were probably the better team on the night and deserved the win. Fortunately, that didn't happen, and Leeds show they can still win those close games. On to the middle eights, which should be fairly competitive. Vincent Lloyd got in touch with us. Hi, Vince. He said,
thanks for getting on board.
Poor refereeing by Hicks again. Chris Macy said, not the best game. Leeds were underwhelming. Robins gutsy but clumsy. Think the Rhinos were lucky to win that one. Aaron Smith got in touch with us from down in Brentwood. He said, I've never seen a Super League game with so many mistakes. Well, you might well have wanted to tune in the following evening, Aaron. If this is what these 2 teams plan to serve up in the Super 8s, my money's on London and Bradford returning to the big time. I blame Aaron then for calling it too early. He had a 10 on Leeds though, so it's all good. Rich Wilkinson got in touch. Alright, Rich, he said it wasn't always pretty and we weren't at our best. Some moments of quality from Leeds was enough to secure 9th and the important 4 home games. Seguera was outstanding, as was Burrow. A few players might be looking at missing a week, but if we take a leaf out of Wigan's book, we should have the RFL apologising for wasting our time.
Yep, that's what they've got.
Talking about Rich and Seguero on 3 or 4 separate occasions this last week, I have chuckled to myself at the line, Seguero loves the club, whilst he'd been at Leeds for about a fortnight. He loves the club. Loves the club, he does. I love his enthusiasm there. Steve-O's Viagra got in touch with us. I'm assuming that this is someone taking advantage of the anonymity of the Google form, or alternatively is one of our expatriate residents operating with a pseudonym. Steve-O's Viagra said, Seguero has just genuinely won a scrum against the Feed. It's the highlight of Super League 2016.